Hi, everyone. So happy to be here tonight. I've been looking forward to this session for about a week now because, if nothing else, I want Haniel and D5 to stop talking to me and just talk to you. So, welcome. This is going to be a great fun evening, I think, with both of them here, and they're going to share the podium in a bit. But first, I want to bring up a couple of things. You know, there's a Valentine's special, 2 sessions for the price of one. So $200 gets you 2 sessions. It's a wonderful, fabulous love gift. So keep it in mind. It was on the Insight page, and I'd love to see you take advantage of it. Also, HeartSpeak has a new cover. I changed it because I wanted it to be clearer and brighter and happier. This is the old cover, remember? And the heart has come out of the shadows. It's first place now. So it's the same book. I think there's only 1 or 2 little changes. And the good news is there'll be a follow-up to this book coming out the end of the year called Happy Speak. So this is just keeping you posted. Old version, old format, new format. Okay? So tonight, let's get started with just a quick review because many of you are new and may not be tuned in to third and fourth dimension and the theories beyond it. First of all, though, let's keep in mind that this is a 5 universal year, and the 5 represents change. It represents freedom. It represents choice. So 5 is an erratic, unpredictable, up and down, spontaneous energy. It is not going to be stable. We are not going to be locked in and locked down like we were last year. And I say that because it's our time to free ourselves from within, to choose to connect within yourself, to create the freedom from outside circumstances so that you can be happy and have fun. And I forgot, I've got questions, and 10 of them. I hope we can get to all of them. We'll do the questions, but see what I mean? 5 is erratic. You never know what's going to happen next, and certainly not with me. No, life's a trip these days. So here we go. The first question, I'm not going to give names. The last time I gave a name, and I have like 5 Elizabeths and 4 Kathys, and someone got very upset because she didn't like the question. She thought I was talking about her, and no names. Just know they're genuine, okay? So the first question is, with still so much restriction, uncertainty, and feelings of scarcity on many levels, how can we navigate these times from the heart? I may want to see people, have the stimulus of in-person gatherings, travel to places where I can share my love and my interests. But in so many places or cases, they are shut down, or there are ongoing limitations along with health and safety fears that prevent it. Well, I think we could probably make a whole evening of that, and I can't do that. I can say this, that is one of the reasons we're going through COVID, because we as humans like love and need connection, and we reach out, which is wonderful and healthy, except we've neglected to reach out within ourselves. We've neglected to feel that love and joy and sense of belonging, of having our act together within ourselves. And if you'll remember, Third dimension is outer directed, which means we outsource to meet our needs, our wants, and desires. So, part of the trip that will really be operative, I think, after June. Remember, this is only a 6-month window we're talking about these days. After June, it will be about balancing outsourcing and insourcing. However, I will say this, until you're connected within, until you find ways to be and do happy or fulfilling, outsourcing is not going to work. The universe is very clear with that. That outer directed habit where we look to others to feel good or to enjoy ourselves, which is a plus. So please don't get me wrong. It's just right now the time frame is go within. And so it is hard to stay happy if you can't see your loved ones or your best friend is in the hospital or whatever. But you can, I think, depending on where you live, and it's so discombobulated these days from state to state, but you can invite a friend in for coffee. You can sit outside and have coffee with a friend. If they're very conservative, they probably won't come over. But there are some free spirits who wheel and deal with this virus, and they are willing to go out, and some are willing to be mask free, and others not. It's a question of finding new ways to meet and see people. And where Zoom isn't the greatest, it's the best right now to interact with people, take a class, just enjoy yourself. So it is tough. It's an excellent question. But since we're meant to still keep digging deeper within ourselves to get grounded, to learn to be happy within who we are and what we're doing, um, it's up to us. I have a wonderful story. I know I've told you about my oldest son, John, who's really phobic about COVID. We call him the COVIDidian in our family. And as his younger brother will say, Mom, he puts on 2 masks and hides under the couch. He really is very conservative when it comes to COVID. So over the weekend, he drove down to LA with my grandson because neither of them would take an airplane. Okay, you get the drift here. And so John was driving back, left Zach off at the apartment, driving back. He called me up and he said, Well, I'm thinking of going to Paul and Shelley's for the weekend, but I don't know. I don't know where they've been or what their health is or anything about them. And I said, okay. So, and he said, well, what should I do? I said, here's what I think you should do. You go to your body. Have you heard this one before? I think so. And you ask your body, is it safe for me to visit Paul and Shelley? Now, the body always tells us the truth. That's the fun part. We can rely on our body to tell us the truth. If you feel relaxed or you feel a little smile coming on or some relaxed, expansive shift in your body, that's a yes. And if you feel a constriction or a tightening or an ache, maybe, that's a no. So he said, okay, I'll try it when I get nearer the turnoff. So I let it go. Calls back about 2.5 hours later, and he says, I tried it. Well, I got this tiny little smile, Mom, but it wasn't, it wasn't a big relax or a big smile. It was just tiny. I said, so what are you going to do about it? And he said, well, I'm going to Paul and Shelley's. I said, great. He said, yeah, but it wasn't, it wasn't clear. I said, John, how many times have you tried this? Never. I said, that's it. Your body isn't used to this. For probably the first 5 or 6 times you try to do this, your body is going to give you a faint answer. John went to Paul and Shelley's. He had a great time. He got up and he broke. I am thrilled. He broke a pattern. So if you're wondering if you should go out today or should you go to the yoga class or even just go get ice cream, come on, check in with your body. And if it says yes, go for it. Okay. This is how we learn to live our truth and do what's best for us. So I understand it's tough if you love travel and you love to be with big groups. It's just not going to happen yet. It's coming in. In the meantime, you figure out the one-on-one and taking classes, and I think you'll be happy. Okay. Clear? Is that clear? Good. So the second question is, how does all this vaccine nightmare compute with the awakening of human consciousness? Not a very controversial question, is it? And how does it compute? It's because the cat vaccine is so controversial. It's because it's just gets everybody locked in and polarized in their thinking that we are having this experience. Okay, the vaccine is what has forced us to go within and examine our beliefs and examine our attitude and feelings about things. And the trick is, do what's best for you. Do what your body is telling you. It's that simple. Because for every antivirus person or anti-vaccine shot, there's a pro-vaccine argument or point of view. So it's up to you. This is the way the universe is saying, take personal responsibility for your health. Do you really believe in the experts? Or can you take all the information that's available and figure out what's going to work for you? So personal responsibility is the priority, the essential, the value of the fourth dimension. Third dimension, we gave our power, we gave the authority up to outside power brokers and institutions that we thought would take care of us. Fourth dimension, that isn't there. That isn't there. You've got to find the trust and confidence in your thinking, in yourself, that what you do for yourself is the best there is. And you know what? If it isn't, you'll change it. It's that simple. It's just an evolutionary process. So enjoy it. You get to be your own boss. I think it's a great idea. Okay. Okay. Now we get off that. Enough of COVID. You mentioned businesses that aren't going to be around in 5, 10, or 15 years. Could you give us a few more? And I'm just going to reel them off. I'm not going to explain anything. I figure you guys can figure it out for yourself. Publishing, bank tellers, travel agents, restaurants, radio, TV. It will be in a different presentation. We won't really call it television anymore, but it is television, okay? Car insurance, all kinds of car insurance, even cars, the sales will be minimized. Insurance, parking garages, obsolete. And my only comment there is, I hope somebody comes in and turns them into homes for the homeless or shelters. You know me, I'm always on this, whether it's the retail store or the business office building. We've got to use that space for those that don't have any. And things will get worse instead of better. What is it? There are 10 million out of a job in the United States. Parking garages could take care of a lot of people. We have to make it work. It's part of the new, we're one, we're community, and it's part of loving each other. And there's a way to do this. If we didn't spend much money on defense, there'd be a space and money for the homeless and caring for people who are having a tough time. So what else? Factory line workers. The robots will take over. AI. You may be surprised, retailers will be gone as such. And especially Walmart and Amazon will not make it through into the new times here, the new earth. There may not even be post offices, if you can believe it. Everything will be techie, instantaneous, and snap of your fingers. It'll all be automated. So the letter, the Valentine, the birthday card, they're already obsolete, but it's just going to get more and more mechanized. I don't know about you guys, but I can send cards on the internet now. There are several companies that have great birthday and anniversary cards. I just love it. So this is what's coming ahead. Interestingly enough, we won't need wallets and we won't need keys. So things are going to be different, okay? That's my list for now. Okay, the next question was, I'm trying to decide which one is best. Are we in the third, fourth, or fifth dimension? Okay. Well, we both all know we're in a massive shift from the third dimension. And I state we're in the fourth dimension. I'm about the only person I think that does. I haven't heard many other astrologists or guides say fourth. They usually say fifth. And the reason I think for that is many people consider the fourth dimension to be the astral plane and to be an energetic plane around us. Could be. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm saying we live in a physical, material dimension. So even if the fourth dimension is energetic, from my point of view, it's an energetic that has to be brought into our material daily lives. And especially since I see the fourth dimension as the activating of the heart, the reinstatement of the divine feminine and the heart and heart consciousness. I see it as a very short-lived dimension, hopefully. I have my fingers crossed on that. But the heart has come back. As I said, it's not in the shadows anymore. It's our new best friend. So I see it is in the fourth dimension. Other people see it in the fifth. To me, this period of time is more of activating the heart and getting things in head and heart in sync with each other. The fifth dimension is where we bring it together and interact. It's really where lead with the heart, back up with smart takes over. Right now, it's just a mantra for us, and it serves as a reminder. Your heart comes first now. In the fifth dimension, it's about work them together, and then the sixth dimension is the healing dimension and bringing head and heart into balance. So I think the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensions are going to move rather rapidly, but it is an individual decision and it does depend on what you choose for you, which is really the subject of tonight's talk. Are you going to stay in the third dimension paradigm, or are you going to move yourself out into fourth? So we'll go into that a bit more. How is the 2024 universal energy field different from the 2021 5 energy field? Okay, think of 4 as being solid, rooted, constructed, secure. It has rules and regulations. It's, you know what's coming. It's about, we create schedules and routines, we bring order. Think of 4 as order. And then that was last year. We had to get ourselves more in order with who we are. Do I love me? Do I love what I do? And get the new order based in love and trust. COVID did a pretty good job of pushing us inside. So I think most of us have made profound changes in some area, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional, whether it's your career, your health, your relationships. You are changing, if not what you do, how you do it. So we had a kind of construct in place that was, now 5 comes whizzing in. And remember, 5 is physical. So it says take action. Outside in the world. Walk your talk, baby. Here we are. So we have to get up and do. Last year we had to reconstruct internally. Now we have to take it on the road. It was get your act together in the 4, take it on the road in the 5. And 5 is about, as I said, change, choice, freeing yourself from the past. Because as long as the past haunts you, you cannot create or manifest a fulfilling life for yourself. You can't be happy. So 5 is about new and different. 5 is the gambler, takes risks. All that means we have to do things in a new way, either go in a new direction or do what we're doing differently. And it's scary. We are humans, like our security. We like our comfort zone. We like to know what's going on next or think we know what's going on next. And we all know it doesn't always happen that way. And but that's what we think of as power. We're in control. We know this is it. And the universe just laughs at us and says, try this. And we've got to learn to laugh and try it this year. So that's basically the difference. Think of 4 as the pillar of the community, you know, however pillars of community think to you. Think of 5 as the adventurer, the gambler, the risk taker, who throws the dice, who's spontaneous, who will change his mind on a dime. And that's the energy we're living in. And this is the energy that we have to bring up in ourselves. We have to become that gambler. We have to see life as an adventure if we're going to do things in a new and different way. Other, we don't, you're stuck in 3rd dimension in that separatist paradigm, which is very singular, very headspace oriented, very survival oriented, and hasn't worked very well on the planet for the last 12,000 years. So give it a chance, take a risk. The last month you talked about Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius. Doesn't that mean that happy days are here again and normal is coming soon? And there was another question that says, when is normal restored? Well, normal will be restored when we restore ourselves or restore the heart. Remember, the heart is your truth. So we need to be in touch with that heart. We need to express ourselves, whether it's verbally or with actions or creativity, from the heart. That is the new universal law now. So it's up to you. You see, every thought you have is transmitted to the collective. It's an energy. It goes into the collection and feeds that collective or public mindset. So if you're filled with the third dimensional mindset of doubt, fear, and a belief in scarcity and lack, you're going to feed the collective with fear, with doubt, and create scarcity in a public or mass consciousness way. So your thoughts not only influence your life, they influence life here itself. This is why I keep promoting that collective. You don't want to feed it with your fear, your doubt. You can't feed it with our frustration or anger or hatred. And goodness knows, there's a lot here to dislike or not be happy about. The lesson is for you to heal within you the doubts and fears that you have that create the frustration, the resentment, the anger, even the hatred. This is how we return to normal, because normal in the third dimension, in the patriarchal, vertical, hierarchical system, is not what normal in the fourth dimension is, which is heart-based, matriarchal. It's not vertical, it's horizontal. It's entirely different operating system. It's an entirely different code of behavior. So normal will return, but we have to make it happen as individuals. And then this is why I encourage everyone, be with people who support you, be with like-minded people. That builds the energy of the love, trust, and belief in abundance. This is the shift we have to make, and we have to do it. We can't sit back and hope that somebody else will take care of it. That is what's known as disenfranchised feminine power. Let me wait and see. And if things look good, then I'll participate, or I'll participate this way or that way. No, you figure out what you believe in, what you want to see your life become, what you would like to see life on earth become, and then you take action to make it happen. You may say, but it's just one, it's just me. But you feed the collective. And the more we can fill it up with trust and love and goodwill towards men, the more we diminish that negative, toxic emotion and behavior that has ruled us for so long. Time to say goodbye. Time's up. Someone asked if I would just talk a minute about space and air. And this year, just space is going to become a major theme in the media. There will be UFOs. Aliens will be acknowledged by all the governments. Watch how they present the ET alien life to us. If they present it as we're in danger, be afraid, that's third dimensional thinking, guys. You have a choice. You can buy it. You can trust the government. And I don't know, you can go back in your house and hole up or build a bunker. I don't know. But the fourth dimension is, are they really our enemy? Are they really here to destroy us? And if so, why now? Why not 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 10 years ago, 2,000 years ago? Take some time to think that one through. Space will also be used for surveillance. Yes, they will tell us they're surveilling the action in space. They're surveilling us as well. Take a deep breath and just remember to powder your nose before you go out in public. That's all. So, Aquarius is air. It's inspiration. It does mean that those storms will be wind. It does mean airplanes are going to be curtailed, or there may be more accidents than usual. So just check the weather before you fly. Check your body, says, is this safe? And away you go. Okay? Why am I putting so much emphasis on this? Because it's what I call inversion. Lots of things that are true are flipped by the media, by authorities, in order to maintain power or get more or whatever they want to do in life. But it doesn't, you don't have to follow it. I don't either. There are good parts to the third dimension, bring them with you, but live in the fourth. I said the market would be strong this year, and it's in a 5-year. It's going to be erratic, it's going to be active, it will be strong. The key is, I think, to invest in the future. New businesses are new concepts in business, and metals, gold, silver, copper, platinum. These are the things that will be strong. I don't think the blue chip stocks will do that well, not because they're old format. And they'll hang around, but I think those are the ones that are going to be shaken when the money markets start shifting and we go much more into digital and nanotechnology with them. So that's it. I'm done. Okay. Let's just see. No more questions, right? Okay. So what I want to cover tonight in the third dimension, or I'm not going to cover it, I hope somebody comes in soon, is the aspect of the third dimension that's grounded in duality and polarity. These are very important transitions for us to climb out of. Think of them as the rabbit hole. Come on, we got to get out of the rabbit hole here. Now, when it comes to duality, chances are we aren't going to climb out of it. And she's coming in. Good evening. How are you all? We are doing ecstatically well, way out there. But let's pick up on duality, because I feel duality has gotten a bad rap lately. Duality is necessary for your earth plane because it provides choice. If there were no differences, if there were no opposites, what would there be for you to choose, for you to learn? What would there be for you to think about? How would you exercise free will? These are all the major lessons that you, as kindred spirits, as my spiritual buddies, have come down here to learn. So duality provides you with a key foot in the threshold of greater understanding. And yes, you will all make mistakes, and you all learn from them, and you all move on. So we don't like the fact that everyone wants to get rid of duality. It's not going to go away because it is essential for human evolution, for your growth, for your giving you options to love, to express, and to find your truth and your real self within you. So value duality. Now, when the duality, the, shall we say, hot, cold, becomes extreme, when you become attached to a point of view, I don't like hot, I like cold weather. No, cold weather is better than hot. When you become attached to your preferences, to your choices, That is called polarity. You've gone to a rigid, extreme position. And it is not necessary in the new earth, in the new times, to hold such rigid positions and points of view. And it is this polarity where we judge what is best for our safety and security that creates the wars, the disease, the injustice that you now are experiencing on your planet in such a heavy and dire way. This is something that you have unconsciously brought on yourself. So we encourage you to find and make the distinction between duality and polarity. Don't get hooked on one point of view. Don't get emotionally attached. If you do, you will realize at some level you're bringing up the doubt, fear, I can't survive, and I need this position. That's really what judging is about. It's a survival mechanism that the ego creates. And we are asking you, let it go. It's necessary for you to let it go in order for you to move into the fourth dimension. We would ask you to consider first your outside world. Okay? Polarity creates divisiveness, diversity. Now, diversity is seeing everything as different, as not connected to you. And let's face it, it's all connected to you, each one of you. But in the third dimension, life is not viewed that way. So, diversity creates splits, creates fragmentation or disconnect between people. And you see it in your world, not just in the United States or Mexico or one country, it is in all countries. And that is what this polarity creates divisiveness, which is I need to protect myself, which then creates diversity. And the outlook, a very fundamental of diversity, is to realize I just blanked out. I guess I was interfering too much. Give me a minute. So let's move on. Yes, she was getting bossy. Diversity creates separation, disconnection, and takes your security from you. So look at the governments. Look at the pillars. Let's look at the pillars of your society, of your culture, what you have relied on these past 1,000 years or so. There's government, there's religion, there's medicine, there's science. There's the judicial and the educational branches, to name a few. But we all rely on them. You've relied on them to look out for us, have good intentions. And the truth of the matter is, people in government or religion are human too. They have their doubts, their fears, and their agenda. So let's look at government. For instance, in the United States, we have the two-party system that is deeply polarized, that both sides are filled with righteousness and hatred or anger or frustration. And what is going to happen now is even within those two parties, there will be a split in those two parties. Because with the conservatives, there are definitely two different groups of conservative thinking. And with the Democrats or the liberals, there are two different ways of thinking what's liberal and progressive. So you're going to see things fall apart. The two-party system is going to be deconstructed. And the media will perhaps tell you that this is terrible, but we would like to see you dance in the street about it. Because what these polarized positions in your capital are trying to do is bring in unity by only having one thought acceptable. And they're willing to censor other different opinions and mindsets. This is not the human experience. This is not evolution. You must be free to think and feel and choose for yourself. So unity does not come through force. And of course, the third dimension is all about force. So keep this in mind and keep this as you look at governments. Uh, your Chinese government is a prime example of third dimension, forcing unity, forcing one way of thinking, being a dictatorship, which is very unhealthy for the planet, for the progress, and for the peace of the planet. Then look at your religions. You have the same conservative, liberal factions, say in the Roman Catholic Church. Um, there are people who have called for the Pope's resignation. There are people who believe that Pope Francis is too political. He's telling every good Catholic should get the vaccine. That's a rather political statement for the church. And your country was built on the separation of church and state. So you want to look at this. Pope Francis has changed many of the dogmas, eliminated them, accepted others. So the church is falling apart very quietly as best it can. And you want to say, do I still want to give my authority to the church, my power to the church and follow their lead? Or do I need to follow my own lead? And you can stay in the church. You just lead your life on your terms. But religion is not spiritual necessarily. Religion, and particularly the Church of Rome and the Protestant churches that came up from the Catholic Church, are political in structure. So these are things that most of you are not aware of, but we encourage you to do your research beyond the public statement. The media is a medium for diversity and divisiveness now. Take it all in with a grain of salt and ask your body if it's true or not. Your body will give you just as good an answer as the newspapers. Even in the Jewish religion now, circumcision has become very controversial. So here is an ancient religion that is revising some of its, I don't like to use the word dogma, but its protocols. So that circumcision now is considered antiquated, harmful, not healthy, physically or psychologically, to that newborn child. Those are just two examples. We have many examples of the Muslim community, the Greek Orthodox, the Protestant churches. People, you are thinking for yourself. And what it really is an evolutionary step in coming up and seeking connection to your own soul, not through an intermediary. You don't need anyone helping you to be spiritual, to experience the spiritual, the oneness, the love, the light, and joy in all things. How you choose to do it is your privilege, being a human here on earth, but it is not a necessity to have a third party anymore. Then we come to medicine, and this is a hot subject, I know, for you all. The biggest, of course, you're all familiar with functional medicine versus holistic medicine. Some people like to call it chemical medicine versus plant medicine. Um, Take your pick. It is a personal decision what you choose to follow. But here's the thing that is new into your society, culture, your thinking. Bioscience is now divided into germ theory and terrain theory. Germ theory was created or established by Louis Pasteur. I'm sure you all know that. And the belief is that there are millions of germs and bugs out there around you, in things, in food, whatever. And you can catch it. They will attack you and you will be sick, you will be unhealthy, you could die. That has been the prevailing, the root theory in medicine or Western medicine for years. Terrain theory said it's the inner environment of the person that determines whether they become sick or ill or meet with an accident. So this was established, I think, in the early 19th century um, by a Frenchman, but his theories lost out to Louis Pasteur. So the thing, whether you're an outie or an innie, okay, uh, we know from Deirdre's experience, she is biased. She is definitely an inner terrain person simply because she sat through her brother's measles, mumps, and chickenpox. She was put at the foot of his bed and played chess, checkers, and all sorts of stories with him and never got any of the diseases. She had 3 sons who went through chickenpox and mumps, never got it. So, from her experience, it is the inner environment of a person. And if you own this book, and mine's in ratty shape, but if you own this book, this is a book that will give you your condition and the mental and emotional cause of it. And it even offers you a mantra or an affirmation on what to do to help heal. This is an excellent starting point to understanding the mental and emotional causes that create your environment that may or may not make you vulnerable to disease or illness or accidents. So that's science. The judicial, we have the constitutionalists, and you have the get rid of anti-constitutionalists. It's that simple. All these groups are at war with each other. No one is trying to negotiate, to meet in the middle and take the best of each. And this is what we are working towards and hoping for. In education, we have the same issues, the liberal teachings, the conservative teachings. The battles continue. So this isn't this is your normal. It's been your normal for some time. Why on earth go back to it? Yes? So here's all this gives you more opportunity to think for yourself. And certainly the educational system doesn't promote students thinking for themselves. They are really into get the facts, just accept it, listen, and obey. Not a creative dynamic there. So changes need to be made. If you look at your sheet of paper that I sent you on the big shift on the third dimension, you will see that the third dimension is highly individuated, highly singular, highly motivated. And because you believe you're alone, it's scary to live here. Underneath it all, we don't trust that you and I and all of us are beings of light, love, and joy. We It's time for you to trust it, to believe in it. So, this is diversity causing splits. And the splits are the universal gentle way of deconstructing the old order, the old format. And guess what? You are split as well into your masculine and feminine. In some ways, it's time for you to find a harmonic, a peace within your masculine and feminine. And how do you do that? By moving into the fourth dimension, which is heart based, which is the feminine, which we so love, and activating that love. Be willing to risk loving. Be willing to risk being excited, enthusiastic, upbeat, optimistic. You are feeding yourself, your environment, and the collective, which is of utmost important in these new times. So if you start from the heart and then use your masculine to execute or act from your desires, the truth of the matter is the masculine will not act in a bossy, domineering, competitive way. It can't when you come from the heart. The heart is truth, your truth. And you have been spending many years stripping the protective layers off that heart to get to your truth. And the good news is that feeling is one of joy. You will know when you're in your heart when you experience joy. And what I can say to you is joy is not happiness. Happiness has a pow to it, an excitement to it. Joy is deeper, it's quieter. There's an inner smile. There's a quiet, a peace, and yummy quality that you just embrace. So don't expect fireworks when you talk about joy. Joy is just ever present, and everything in your body sings. So listen for the song, my friends. I am going to run along. I wish you all love, all joy, peace. And my prayerful wish for you is you trust and believe in yourself. Uncertainty always tests your ability to be at peace. So get comfortable with uncertainty, okay? Okay, did that all make sense? Mhm. Yeah, people are nodding. This is good. This is very good. Okay, so um, the splits, I think, are rather dramatic and easy to see. And it gives us a lot of homework, to be sure. But we can do it. We're up for it. It's time that, we want the world to change, so we have to bring up all the dregs. We have to look at things that we don't like looking at, whether they're in government, religion, or in ourselves. And I think the most important place to begin is with yourself. Are you going to stay in the third dimension to feel safe and secure because you know what to do and what's going to happen? or you're going to take a deep breath and just leap into the fourth dimension, into that heart consciousness, the consciousness of unity and oneness and feeling whole and complete. So many of us grew up with having a critical parent or no parent that did not allow us our joy, our happiness, our trust and confidence in ourselves. So, yes, it's been a battle, it's been a journey, but we're here and it's today. And I think most of us are at an age when we can just let the parental influence go. It's that simple. And it's scary because deep down in the subconscious, we need that parent. The inner child needs that parent to make sure I'm survived and safe. But it's time to move out of your safety zone, move out of your security zone. Risk, take a chance. So, just to review quickly, let's relate. Diversity, when we're diversity, what we do there is in diversity, we look at something from what's wrong. It's different. What's wrong with it? In the fourth dimension, you look and because you feel connected and know we're all one, you say, what's right? That things are different. How can I make it work? Can I? Does it resonate or not? Then the divisiveness is the righteousness, my way or the highway. That provokes wars and anger and disagreement, my way or the highway, or the fluid mind, the flexible mind that's open. It just says, let's wait and see. I need to think about this. It doesn't claim to be right, but it doesn't claim to be wrong. It just accepts. Then in the competition and the competing mindset, in the third dimension, the competition is with the other person because they're threatening in some way, or you need to be better, feel that you have power, you have control, all ego based. In the fourth dimension, competing is competing to be the best you can be, express the best in yourself. So it's a self improvement that comes from recognizing all your talent, all your gifts, and being happy with who you are. That's why I have my clients in the empowerment program write 20 qualities they like about themselves and their list of accomplishments, because we just take all that for granted. But actually, when we recognize it and acknowledge it, that gives us the gumption or the moxie to get up and create more, because it's human nature to create more, to expand, to enliven, to give. So give that some thought. Then when it comes to competition, the win-lose factor, whoever wins dominates, right? The winner tells the story, writes the script. The winner controls, in other words. So it's about controlling versus empowering, which is sovereignty. There is no dominance. There is only claiming your power, your empowerment, and feeling good with yourself. Basically, empowerment is feeling good with yourself. So you manifest and contribute on terms you're happy with. Happy is very important. Do things that make you happy. In the third dimension, that diversity, divisiveness, competitiveness, dominance creates that doubt, fear, lack mindset that makes us feel limited and small and inadequate. We have lost, you are not in touch with our soul or my soul or your soul. That doesn't serve you or the planet anymore. It isn't working. We need to trust, love, accept who we are, allow ourselves to be who we are, trust, and joy. But it's also a belief in abundance because we are made in that spark of divinity. And the divine, I like calling it universal mind these days because it's helping me feel more connected and moving into that connective paradigm rather than God, which from my upbringing was sitting on a throne and judging. So for the time, there's nothing wrong with God. I'm just not using it right now because I need to kick a habit. Um, so universal mind, we can connect to it. It contains everything. And that will assist you in believing more and more in yourself and allowing yourself to love and joy and be in joy with yourself and your life. So it's very cool, in my opinion. Okay. Abundance comes from knowing it's you got it all. You just have to choose it. We're doing pretty well. I promised myself I wasn't going to keep you for 2 hours, and I promise you I'm not. So I'm just sort of waiting for D5 to come in here because I know he has something to say. And it wouldn't be any fun if he didn't. So anyway, is this all making sense? Clear? You got it? You're going to go out and just have a great time with the world. Okay. So, all right, I'm here. And I'm glad to be here. I do hope you understand everything you heard. I do hope you're getting excited about it. You will remember a couple of months ago, I said to you, you cannot rely on government. You can only yourself to rely on and believe in it because you are an expression of God, an extension of God. You are filled with the creative, loving kindness of God. So be it, believe it. Time's up, guys. I want to talk to you about inversion because everything is flipping in your world. Things have always been inverted. The truth, your history, your human history, the symbols of empowerment, of love, of joy have all been compromised. What am I talking about? Let's start with the number 13. 13 got a bad rap. 13 is shunned by most people. It's unlucky, it's betrayal, it's, in fact, you don't have the 13th floor because in a building, because no one will want to live on the 13th floor. In truth, my dear friends, 13 is the most powerful number in the universe. And look at the 13. It holds the one of source, of universal mind, God for you who are using it, with the 3, which is your individual God self or universal mind, the spark of divinity that is loving and creative. These numbers stand side by side. And when they're connected, joined together, added together, 1 and 3, as in numerology, it creates the 4, which is the number of manifestation, of power, of authority. So the 13 is the number of empowerment, of feeling good with yourself. So you manifest and contribute on terms you're happy with. And that is what my lady says in all her spiritual contracts. And I think it's a rather fine thing to say. So 13, how did it get demonized? Unfortunately, it was demonized by the early Christian church because in matriarchal times, people worshiped in the woods. They worshiped nature. They sang songs, they were joyful. It was a very different kind of religious, not quite, but spiritual experience. And when the Christian church came into formation, no one would go into the church. The pews were empty, and the church fathers had to figure out how to get people in the church. And they did it and by saying 13 is an unlucky number. It is the number of death, of destruction, of betrayal. Look at Christ and the 12 apostles, and look what happened. Judas killed your Lord. And for whatever reasons, you bought it. You drank the Kool-Aid. So that is where 13 got this very sinister, negative meaning. And this is why people have been revolted by it. But if you people would embrace the 13, then you would be able to tap into the universal mind that is creative and loving and created in your life, and interior and exterior, easily. It's the magical aspect that takes over. So that's the 13. Another inversion is the pentacle, the 5-pointed star that most people associate with the devil and evil. And oh, nothing could be further from the truth. The pentacle, the 5-star, is a symbol of the divine feminine, of the Blessed Mother in the Catholic Church, in divine feminine, in spiritual hierarchy. It is also the symbol of Venus. Venus has 5 letters, the points are 5. It is a symbol of love. It is a symbol of the beauty and the love and inspiration that the feminine brings to everything. But it was compromised. Let's face it, it was polluted again by the Christian church because they did not want the feminine, which had been the matriarchal power structure for so long, back in action. So it was minimized. But the pentacle, if you bring to it your love, your trust, your joy, your love of beauty, your ideals, and infuse that pentacle with that belief and feeling, magic will occur. It is an extraordinarily powerful sign. The other thing is the devil, poor devil. If you think of the devil, he gets such a bad rap. But really, the devil in the ancient times wasn't even called that. We contributed it to Lucifer, but Lucifer begins with what? Luce, which is what? Life. I mean, light. So, how can light get distorted? Because what we're saying is this is distorted light. And that is what has happened because that has been the prevailing paradigm that people on earth have adopted, adapted, and lived with. That is why it has become the truth. But originally, Lucifer was the playful, happy, joyous aspect of the Lord, of your universal mind. So it was frowned upon to be joyful and happy. Besides, if people were happy, who would come to church? There would be no need for an intermediary. So again, this is a distortion, this is an inversion, and the list goes on and on. We ask, we believe that the government is looking out for your best interests. You do. The government is looking out for the government's interests. It is best if we accept that the government is out for itself. All institutions are. It's just the nature of the power broker, of the powerful. And when we look at it, you will see you are out for the best for yourself. Nothing wrong with that if you are coming from your heart, if you're willing to share your love, your creativity in the world for the highest and best good of all. It's just, I am asking you to think beyond yourself into your community, into Earth, Mother Earth, your home. And whether it's the environment or children or elders, you make a choice on where you will contribute. And then please do it, because you are going to meet with a remarkable shift in your perception of life this year when you realize that you are part of space, that you are a galactic being, you are not an earth being, that you belong to a universe far greater than you ever imagined. And to do that, you must prepare by feeling at home with yourself, being at peace, being accepting, and allowing yourself to be who you are. We are asking this of you. It is time for you to embrace all that you are and see yourself as the love, light, and joy of universal mind or God. We're not fussy either. We call him Lord because Lord originally meant law. So we follow the law. It's that simple. And now we are giving you the chance to make up your laws, based on your truth, which comes from your heart. Just think of it as this is the new construct, please. And you need to make that choice, whether you will move into this collaborative, connective feeling of whole and complete rather than feeling lack and doubt. This is your time to make your choice. It's why? Because this February, as my lady would say, is the 7 frequency. That is a spiritual frequency that acknowledges and is synchronistic in nature. So you're going to begin this month. You have to dive deep, do soul searching, and recognize that you need to start putting things together in a new and beautiful way. 7 is in love with beauty. Life is in love with beauty, and love is beautiful. So I leave you with the thought, the mantra: I am love, I am loved, I am love. Because you are. And we love you up to the moon and back again, each one of you. So love yourself, be with yourself, and journey with love. At the beginning, I think last month, my lady spoke of get out the popcorn, sit down, and watch the show. There's a circus going on with all these splits and divisiveness with this two-party polarized system, whether it's religion, church, science. And you are entitled to work that out, but make your decision now. Will I stay in that separate, singular, competitive headspace, or will I move into my heart? Oh my goodness, move into your heart and become one, whole and complete, connected within in order to share it without. That creates peace. And I bid you a good night and a good month. And I understand she is thinking about doing another talk in 2 weeks about relationships and how they change from the third dimensional operating system code into the fourth dimension. She hasn't made her mind up yet. So if you have an interest, let her know, please, because I'd like to come back and talk relationships. And we'll have a good, healthy talk about sex and its place in your world and in the world. Because if you want to talk pollution, sex is a very fine place to start. So I hope to see you. Okay. Did you get it? Was he as tough as usual? Or is the testosterone going down with him? Maybe he doesn't have to work so hard with you guys anymore. We're all used to each other. Anyway, let's wrap it up. For February, I just have a few quick bullet points, tips, keeping in mind that 5-year. So the first thing to know, or what I'd like you to remember, is everyone has their own timeline for growth, evolution. So be gentle. We live in a world where duality exists. Everything has two sides. Value it, appreciate it. If we didn't have it, we'd have no choice. Remind yourself of that. We become robotons if we didn't have choice. And I don't know about you, but for all the ups and downs I've had in life, I don't want to be a robot. No excitement there. 3, keep in mind, and I know you know it, but judging is the villain. Judging is a function of the ego part that's based in fear, the ego part that is into doubt and fear. Now, it's also into the ego that feels superior or arrogant and feels its job is to judge everything. But remember, in third dimension, diversity, differences are looked upon as what's wrong with it, not what's right. So if you see differences, take a few minutes to just say, what's good about this? Where's the gift here? There is going to be a gift. There's always a kiss with a kick. Okay? 4th, focus on all that you've got, all that you love doing. No more focusing on what you don't have. Stop comparing yourself. You are a beautiful child of God. You are a beautiful light. You are filled with love and joy if you choose to use it and express it. It is your free will in action. Lastly, worrying is out. You've heard me say, if you've had a reading with me, worrying is not loving. We think it is. We think we care so much and we're concerned for someone's well-being. But worrying sends the negative energy to the person. I'm not sure you can take care of this. I'm not sure you can handle it. I'm not sure you can do it. It comes from a belief that the other person lacks whatever the person needs to do something or to accomplish. So it's not a loving act. So here's my thought. When you want to worry about someone, send them a virtual hug or send them gold light. Just bring in the gold light, send it from your third eye, and just run it down their body like gold flies, or if you like, a stream of gold light. That's worrying in good form. Just send them an extra dab of love. We could all use it. And keep in mind that what you project into the world is taken up into the collective and sent back into the public mind. So please watch your thoughts, watch how you feel about things. If you're off center, you are in third dimension old format judging. Ask, what's my doubt here? What's my fear? And what can I love about this? How can I project acceptance and allowing? So I think that's a wrap. I didn't cover half the material, but I promised you it wouldn't be 2 hours. So we'll continue whenever. I'm not sure when. Maybe 2 weeks, maybe a month. We'll continue on the inner split with yourself and how to look at that in the most loving way. Because this year is all about the new versus the old, and in the outside world and in your inner world. So let's get together and just love, okay? And I'll see you soon. Blessings all the way, and have some fun. Make life work for you. It's yours, it's precious. Have a good time. Good night.